I'm going to show you how to identify common electrical issues in your car, okay? It's not everything that happens to your car that requires a mechanic. There are mechanical issues and there are electrical issues. Come with me, let me show you how to identify common electrical issues in your car. First electrical problem you could have in a car is engine starter problem. This is the starter here, right? When you push this, do you see the car makes that click sound and starts, right? Yeah, that is. But when you do this and the car refuses to make the click sound, you will need to check the starter, which is what some people call key starter or some people call it kick starter. However, there are other reasons why your car might refuse to start. A damaged or a faulty starter. If this starter is damaged or is faulty, your car will refuse to start. But if your starter makes that click sound and yet your car refuses to start, the next thing you need to go and check is the car battery, okay? The next thing, if the starter is kicking when you start your car and is kicking, that means it's not the fault of the kickstarter. You come to the battery, right? This is the battery of your car. Battery problem. Your battery could be responsible for the refusal of your car to start. It could be damaged battery, poor battery life, or battery leakage can also make your car not to start, because at that point the battery is weak. If this battery is leaking, if this battery is bad, your car will not be able to start. So what do you look out for? Look out for if there is any leakage in this battery. Look out for if the battery has expired. I want to let you know that every battery have a lifespan, okay? They did not make this battery to last for long. I want you to pay attention to the names I'm calling, because the compartment of this car, the way this car is built, a lot of things I need to show you are hidden. You will not be able to see them. So if you try the kickstart, the car refuses to start, or you discover that the kickstarter is not the problem, the next thing you need to check is the battery. Is there leakage in the battery? Has the battery expired? Is the battery bad? If you try this, and the other way to help you to know if the battery is good, try to check the leakage. If there is no leakage, you check the battery has not expired. You can also check your light, okay? Check if this light is coming up the way it should, or is it dim. Check all these lights. You can check the lights in your car to see, are they coming up or are they dim? If they are flashing the way it should be, and yet you think your car is not starting for you to go where you're going to, the next thing you need to look out for is the alternator. Alternator malfunctioning must be replaced if your alternator is not good. This is part of what I was saying. If I want to show you the alternator of this car, I will need to lose all this. I'll need to open all this to show you. I might make out time to review this video so that I'll be able to show you all the parts that I'm talking about. But for those of you that knows what alternator is, if the battery is okay and yet your car is not starting, check if your alternator is faulty, right? When alternator is faulty, the car will decrease in power and speed of the car will reduce immediately. You will need a technician to handle this. If not, your car will not be able to go anywhere, okay? Now, but if you check the alternator and you think it's not the fault of the alternator, what is the next thing you need to do? Check out for short circuit. What do I mean by short circuit? Short circuit happens when a neutral wire touches live wire. This can cause a serious issue to the extent of burning your car. Now, this is the fuse where the cables are in this car. You can see every wiring in this car. The fuses are here. The fuse that controls everything in this car is here. All these things you are seeing, it has meaning, but it's not what I will start reading for you today, okay? All these things you are seeing, they all have meaning. They all have what it does in the car wiring. Now, short circuit, if two wires touches each other, maybe a live wire is touching with neutral, it can spark, it can burn down your car, and it can make your car not to start, right? I said that this, what I mean by short circuit, this happens when your neutral wire touches live wire. I said that this can cause a serious issue to the extent of burning your car or causing explosion. You can detect this when you perceive a smell or a burning plastic while driving. Okay, if you want to know if there is a short circuit, when it happens, when two wires touches each other, you start perceiving a burning smell of a plastic. This is the number 5 of electrical issues you can find in your car. Still pay attention to this fuse because a lot of things are there. I also need to show you about a loose spark plugs. If your spark plugs are loose, which is also, I still need to open this compartment to show you. Please pardon me that I'm going to look for another car to show you all this. I want to show you where the plugs are. I want to show you what I mean by spark plugs. I wouldn't want to start losing in this car. Just pay attention to what I'm saying. Loose spark plugs cause a lot of problems. Spark plugs are responsible for powering up the piston, right? Yes. Whenever your spark plugs are loose, there must be unusual activity in your car. When your car is losing power and eventually coming to a standstill, it's possible caused by a damaged spark plugs. Okay, if your spark plugs are loose, if your spark plugs are not okay, your car may not start. That is the 5th one. The 6th one is faulty fuse. You see this fuse I'm telling you? If this fuse is faulty, your car will not start. Yeah, faulty fuse, loose wires are around the fuse. If there are loose wires, you can see the cables are coming from here. Do you see it? This cable goes all the way from here to the doors. You can see all the cable. You can see the battery cables, all this. If there are loose wires, it can also make your car not to start. Okay, loose wires around the fuse could make fuse blow. If there are loose wires here, it could blow the fuse. These are fuse. All these things you are seeing are fuse that are there. Okay, when your car fuse blows more frequently, the best thing to do is to replace the fuse box. This is the fuse box. If your fuse blows more often, know that you'll be having need to change the fuse box. Okay, that is having issue. Now, starting a car or cranking a car or your car engine, a defective part in electrical system of your car can also be draining out your battery. If there are parts, maybe the car is old, the wirings are not okay, there are things that are not working the way it should in your car, right? It can also be draining your battery. By so doing, it will make your car not to start. I say, but this prevents the car from cranking. The cranking sound is that sound you hear when you start your car. If it is car that you use key for, if it is car that you use push button, you can also hear the same sound when you push the button. Remember, common electrical issues in your car, I mentioned number 1 is engine starter problem, right? And I mentioned number 2, battery problems. I mentioned the 3rd one is alternator malfunctioning. I mentioned number 4, short circuit, and I told you the short circuit is when neutral wire is touching a live wire. It could also cause a blow, or it can cause a spark in your car and it can burn down your car. Remember, the 5th one is loose spark plugs, right? Remember, the 6th one is faulty fuse. Remember, the 7th one, I say starting a car or cranking your car engine, and I told you that a defective part in electrical system of your car can be draining out your car battery. This prevents the starter from cranking the engine, right? But note to remember, cranking is that sound that takes place when you turn your key to start a car, all right, for cars that are with keys. However, cars with push button is also the same sound that you hear when you push the start button that makes that kind of sound. That is what I'm talking about. This can pop up an engine light, but frequently car servicing can take care of this. When there is a defective issue in your car, in the electrical system of your car, right, it will bring up engine check light in your car to enable you know that something is wrong. These are the common electrical faults in a car. However, I will make our time to get another car that I will show you every part that I'm talking about. But I know that most of you know all the things that I've just mentioned. Thanks for watching our video. Thanks for following us. This is Alternator Media. Please make sure you share this video. Make sure you comment. Make sure you watch till the end.